Tour Junkies.
What's up, golf addicts? DB here, Pat Perry here. We are the Tour Junkies. It is WGC Mexico 2020 week, and we feel really special right now. In fact, it may have moved a little bit since the beginning of this podcast because we are actually in person.
Yeah.
Which, for those of you who may not know, we don't normally record in person. We're normally in different locations recording, but I am right now able to grab Pat's boobie and pat it and touch it. We are in person. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to be here in person.
Okay. So we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
if you're already thinking to yourself, man, I can't wait to tweet Pat and David and tell them how shitty the audio is. Can you just not do that this week? Because we're trying our best. We're farther away from microphones than normal. We're also trying to run the YouTube thing, which is weird. So just don't do that this week, okay? It's WGC Mexico. It's an alternate field event in Puerto Rico. So just consider this an alternate field podcast. But we got to do this early. I want to get this out of the way early so we can go ahead and get started. For our special trip, and we'll tell you why we are together here in just a second. I wanted to make sure that my friend Pat tried the Casamigos.
Very much looking forward to this.
No free ads, but we're going to give George Clooney, the founder of Casamigos, a free ad here because George probably needs it. This is the Casamigos Reposado, which I've grown very fond of, and I've bought us a bottle, and Pat is going to try this for the very first time. I've got us queued up with some rocks here, an orange. Can you give me your glass here, bud? Or do you just want to text people while you're here?
No.
What do you want to do?
I would like to.
Awesome.
Okay. I really want to drink, yes.
I'm going to pour Pat his very first Casamigos. We're going to be here a while, so we just might as well go ahead and do that.
Now, do you, with this orange
you want to
slice,
squeeze this? Yeah, you want to squeeze it in there. You know.
I don't have any room for any juices after what you just did.
Yeah, there's always room for juices. All right.
Wow.
Our YouTube audience is getting a great show right now. If you're not watching live on YouTube, go ahead and sip it then, bud.
Okay.
Off camera sip. All right. Unfortunately, guys, we're not going to be able to see a lot of the YouTube comments tonight. Is that good?
That's smooth.
Cheers, friend.
Cheers.
Cheers, friend.
Don't cheers too hard because I'm going to drop.
Yeah.
I'm going to spill some of that.
Oh my gosh, that is very smooth.
You cannot sip that like I sipped the rosé. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, I think that'd be a good time.
No, if I do that.
Here's the deal. If you're watching on YouTube, we are not going to be able to get to you, to your comments, although I'm sure they're lovely, and we appreciate you watching on YouTube. But we are too far away from the computer to be able to read it. We're not. We don't have the young eyes we used to have.
You have a table next to you. I don't have a table.
Look, if you just do that, then you have a table.
Okay.
All right, so maybe some of you are wondering, hey, why are Pat and David together for once? It's because we are doing something pretty cool. Pretty cool. And we're pretty excited about it. We haven't said a word about until now. We are currently in St. Augustine, Florida. I left my jean shorts at home. Apparently you did too. But we're in St. Augustine, Florida, and we're at the World Golf Hall of Fame, getting ready to start our morning tomorrow at PGA Tour Entertainment. Pat,
yeah.
You want to tell people what we're doing at PGA Tour Entertainment?
So, as everyone knows, or most people know that follow DFS as closely as I know all our listeners do, or viewers out there, last year the tour announced that they had a partnership with DraftKings, and we don't exactly know how that is going to look right now. But one thing we do know is that through Scratch TV, you might follow them on Twitter or YouTube or whatever. It's part of the tour. They own Scratch and put out a lot of content over social media. And so we are going to be filming tomorrow some video for Scratch that involves DFS golf, and it's pretty exciting. You know, when you think about it, nobody's really done it in conjunction. Conjunction is the word I was looking for with the tour. So we're excited to be doing that. It's going to be some fun stuff. Can't wait for it to go. I don't know. Do we want to talk about what it's going to be, or do we want to wait till it gets out? Yeah,
it's going to be exciting though. I mean, and I think it further speaks to the way the tour has finally embraced DFS, and the partnership with DraftKings has been a big deal. So It's going to be exciting. We will be there from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. We have a full workload tomorrow. It's really exciting. You know, some behind the scenes here. They asked us to bring about 9 or 10 outfits.
Yes.
And I'm very pumped because my outfits look vastly different from Pat's outfits.
Yeah, I brought more, I think, than you did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Lots of blues and khakis in Pat's outfit arrangement.
Shocker.
But it's going to be a great time. We will try to Insta story or something like that. If you follow us on Instagram at @tour_junkies, be sure and do that.
You're very excited about getting in front of a green screen for the first time.
Yeah, we're going to get
I
to
don't
some
really
green
know what
screen
that
work.
means. I don't know how
I'm just excited to see how it turns out because we've been working with Scratch on this and we've had a lot of really fun ideas being thrown out there. And so the green screen really makes almost anything possible, and I'm excited about that. Pat is like a moth to a flame because he can finally see the comments live on YouTube tonight, and so he can't stop.
They wanted to see my socks.
These Pat actually has cool socks on.
These are my Stance.
Nobody can see them because they're not in the camera. You might want to
Stance Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Caddyshack.
Look at Pat. I got him wearing Stance socks right now.
Yeah, no free ads.
Speaking of socks, we just ordered some socks for the Tour Junkies shop, so be on the lookout for those. We'll have some Golby socks coming out. Anyway, we're really pumped. We're happy to be here in person. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we are also here to break down the WGC Mexico, talk a little bit about that, maybe hit a little bit on the old Puerto Rico, and we're going to have a good time. But, you know, I know we brought this up a couple weeks ago, Pat, about your golf cart incident when you got thrown or you projected yourself off your golf cart late on New Year's night.
Fully healed, by the way. I know all of you were very worried about me.
You know, and that's important because living with chronic pain is the worst. And it's more than just discomfort. It can affect your whole life. You know what I mean? And a lot of our listeners may have some pain like that that hasn't improved or whatever. And so you had your recent painful experience with the golf cart. And we talked about this before. Your Cryofreeze that we got sent to us for free. We get it for free. You guys have to pay for it. But we get it for free. The roll-on and the cream really helped all of the areas of your body that were hurting. So our friends at Omax Health have Cryofreeze. And if you're looking to get rid of the nagging muscle and joint pain naturally through a breakthrough pain relief solution, Cryofreeze CBD, everything's CBD, okay? It's really good stuff, legal, and fun for everyone, okay? Developed by Omax Health, it's a non-prescription triple-action pain relief roll-on, specifically formulated to block the pain receptors, reduce the inflammation, improve muscle and joint flexibility, and it's all natural, baby. I'm going to take a sip. And CBD powered. Works within just 10 minutes of application. Lasts about 8 hours. It worked for you.
It worked fantastic. It's great.
You did like it.
Yeah. And the roll-on has kind of a cooling feature as it's coming on. So.
And sometimes you can use it to get your wife to apply it. You know what I mean? And like sometimes maybe that'll stir something up. If you're just like, hey, babe, let me take my shirt off and
here's some
take a look at my delts and my lats, my scapulas, and let me put this CBD stuff on. So right now, Omax Health is offering our listeners 20% off the full bottle of Cryofreeze CBD Pain Relief Roll-On and free shipping. Only applies right now if you go to omaxhealth.com and enter the promo code TourJunkies. That is Omax, O-M-A-X, health.com. Enter TourJunkies, and you get 20% off your Cryofreeze and anything else site-wide. I know our friend Kyle Stanley uses this. We talk to his caddy all the time. They got 95% 5-star reviews on their pages. It's good stuff. We have used it. So head on over to omaxhealth.com, enter promo code TourJunkies, get your 20% off Cryofreeze and anything site-wide. omaxhealth.com. Tour Junkies promo code. That's out of the way.
Great read, DB. Good job.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you do that in person. You're very professional.
Thank you.
Yeah. I like the tossing of it after you're done.
You just kind of throw it all over there until the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight we are going to talk about WGC. We're going to briefly recap.
These comments really. I just want to see something.
Pat is so worried about the comments. We're going to talk about the Genesis, but at the end, we're going to have a kind of a grab bag. We're going to talk about whatever. We're going to talk about possibly the coverage. We're going to talk, which it's been beaten to death by a lot of people, but whatever. We might talk about the distance report and the state of golf there. We may talk about anything else that we come up with, or if you guys have an idea of something, I don't recommend putting it in the YouTube comments because it's too far away to read. Maybe right now, go and send us a DM on Twitter or Instagram at tour_junkies, and maybe I'll see it by then and we can answer the question.
Yeah.
We had a great first 2 weeks in the Nut Hut as well. Some listeners winning money too in the Nut Hut.
Yeah.
I saw some screenshots.
Big wins. A lot of fun in there, though. And I'll say, too, threw out some bets as well, not just that were very close. You and I both were sweating. You had HV3 on Sunday. I had Joel Damon, who was a little bit further back. I got him at 275 to 1. I believe you got HV3 at 400 to 1.
Yeah. We had some sweats.
That was fun too. Even though our DK lineups weren't necessarily great, the sweats on the bets were nice. So
yeah. Let's get to it, man. Let's hear about the WGC, the course breakdown for. I'm gonna let you pronounce it since you love pronouncing it.
Oh, great.
While you do that, I'm gonna read comments.
All right. So this is we are at the WGC Mexico in Mexico City at Club de Golf de Chapultepec. I practiced that today too.
Chapultepec.
Sorry, I spelled it wrong too. That was another reason. It is a par 71 playing just over 7,300 yards. It's actually going to play a lot less than that. You got to pay attention to the elevation, over 7,000 feet above sea level. That's going to make it really play about like 6,900 yards, which is important. We have seen bombers do well here. DJ's obviously won 2 out of the last 3 years. But I think the length doesn't matter quite as much because of that elevation. But the ball is going to travel about 10 to 20% further. We'll see. But the course is a classic course, though. I mean, you've got tight tree-lined fairways, very small greens, very undulating greens. They're going to run pretty quick. I think that this is another course like we had last week at Riviera, where it's really not how far you drive it necessarily, but it's where you drive it. In order to you've got to give yourself a good angle into these pins in order to attack them into these greens. So your positioning off the tee, I think, is going to be key when it comes to just doing well on this course. But definitely bombers are going to have some advantage. They're going to be able to cut some corners out here. I'll tell you something that was interesting that I looked at. 13 of the last 16 winners of WGC events have had odds of 25 to 1 or better. So basically, this just tells you the cream rises to the top this week. Yes, you may want to throw some long shot odds and bets out there, but really it's going to come down to those top players. I think as far as the guys that are going to have shots to win. But as far as stats, I looked at driving distance. I looked at strokes gained approach, which is the most important stat to me. Strokes gained around the greens, one of the things I always look at when we get small greens. Opportunities gained, I want to look at those guys that are giving themselves chances to score, and then certainly putting on Poana greens. I didn't mention that. We're Poana greens again this week. So I did look at Poana, just putting stats over the last 100 rounds. Past champs on this course were DJ last year, Mickelson in 2018, and then DJ in 2017. So there you go. That is a quick rundown on Club de Golf de Chapultepec.
Why do you say "duh" again?
I don't know.
Chapultepec. Club de Golf Chapultepec. What kind of fairways and rough do we have here?
Kikuya.
Okay. All right. I hear you. You watched the coverage enough to know how to say it, I guess, because they kept talking about it. Yeah, not much to add. I do know we got a caddy friend that just who's played here the last 3 years, and it's pretty short and simple. But basically, he says, "Listen, being in the fairway is a big deal. The rough isn't bad to hit out of, but because this is such a tree-lined golf course and the fairways are tight, if you get too far off, you are obviously in the trees and you could be blocked out, and it's just not good." And then he says, "Got to have a hot putter," which is nice for him to say, but in reality, I'm like, hey, dude, nobody can predict who's going to have a hot putter. So basically, that's a little bit of inside information. Pat, I found something pretty interesting. I went back and looked at the last 3 years here. Do you know that Dustin Johnson, out of 12 rounds played at this event, 12 rounds, 11 of those 12 rounds are in the 60s.
Amazing.
Do you know the next closest to him is a handful of guys who have played all 3 years, so they've got 12 rounds under their belt, and the next closest is 7 rounds. DJ likes this place. He has a 57-hole streak without a bogey between 2018 and 2019. He didn't make a bogey for 57 holes. He plays well here. You got JT with the course record here of 62, who he actually shot in 2018 and again in 2019. So, yes, the course you mentioned plays at altitude, plays shorter. But I do think you said, if I remember correctly, I was kind of zoning out, that bombers still really pop here. Because obviously you're scaling down off the tee. You know, a lot of this is about angles. So it's angles into, your approach shots into these greens and being on the proper side of the fairway, which is obviously easier to control if you're hitting irons off the tee. So,
this is weird.
Thank you. This is weird. It is kind of strange.
It's kind of weird.
Hey, tell real quick. Tell the people how weird it was when you were walking up here and you said you made some friends in the hotel.
So, all right. So we have obviously a setup here, and one of the things that I forgot, of course, in the truck was this ring light that's behind us. And to get the lighting right, DB likes to get the lighting, and good for the people out there. But so I forgot it in the truck, and so I had to go out to the truck to get the ring light. Okay. Now I had already secured us an orange, which I thought was
secured an orange, which is critical for the reposado.
Yeah. So I got the ring light, came back. We still needed a knife to cut the orange. Said orange. And so I took the ring light through the lobby. I've got about 2 questions about what the hell I was holding just walking to the bar. And so then I got a knife. And so if you ever want to meet interesting people or have people come up to you and ask you what you're all about, just walk through a lobby with a ring light and a knife in your hand.
There you go.
And they'll.
That's weird. As is this.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did on the elevator ride up. A guy was very interested in the ring light. He didn't happen to notice the knife, which was probably a good thing. But anyway.
Okay. Well, good. Other than that, I mean, our weather predicts to look about like it has the last couple years. So it's going to play similar to 2019, 2018, I think. Mm-hmm. It's going to be nice. I don't have a computer available to me right now, which I normally do. Pat is going to hog his. But
I'm moving it.
I know, but I did a lot of research ahead of time, so I think I'm good. But I will leverage you for the prices here, Pat. We're going to talk $9K and above on DraftKings, 3 tournament plays, a cash play, and 1 fade, which I got to say, man, like, props to you for the Tiger fade last week, by the way. I was on Adam Scott, Justin Thomas I was also on, which didn't pan out very well. But, hey, also, how about my Bryson call last week? DB comes around on Bryson. Listen, here's the thing. And we may talk about this tomorrow on our Scratch TV shoot. You can't let your hatred of one player too much consume you. You know what I mean? Like, there is a line, depending on the player. We talked about this before. This is kind of a just the tip moment. Early. This is an early in the evening just the tip. You know what I mean? Where, okay, very early on in the game, I grew a hatred for Jonas Blixt back in like 2015.
Yeah. Now you don't even really have to see his name anywhere. So.
I don't have to see his name. You know why? Because he fucking sucks. That's why I don't have to see his name. But when it's Jonas Blixt and you hate him, you can write him off and you're fine. But obviously, as much as I can't stand Bryson DeChambeau as a human being, I recognize that he is a good player and he will be here for a minute. Okay, he's not a Jonas Blixt. So, you got to take note. You got to know that even your disdain for a certain player cannot overcome or override you ever playing them. You pick your spots, and you have to understand the object of your hatred, right? And the object of my hatred being Bryson DeChambeau is very different than when it was Jonas Blixt, because Bryson's actually a world-class player, as much as I hate it. But he is. And so last week was an example where I kind of felt like this may have been a spot for Bryson. Mm-hmm. And even though I don't like him as a person, I had some of him, and I played him. And he almost freaking won the event. He came out of nowhere because everybody else was falling backwards.
Yeah.
He almost won the event. So that's a lesson. Like, you can't just write off the big names that you can't stand. You know, write off the Jonas Blicks, the who else? Who are some lower class individuals that we write off?
I don't know.
You know, Keegan. Keegan's kind of there. You can afford to write him off if you just can't get him right.
Kevin Na.
No, I disagree with Kevin Na, but I mean Kevin Na and Keegan are above Jonas Blicks.
Well, yeah, of course.
But you know, Michael Thompson. You know, if for whatever
Michael Thompson.
If for whatever reason one of these years Michael Thompson really pissed you off and you can't stand it.
I'll tell you, I'm never writing off is Sung Kang.
You're not writing off Sung Kang?
No.
Okay.
Damn it! If I wasn't a week off on him, I wrote him up in the fantasy
the week
golf
before.
Somali. Yeah.
All right, let's get into it, man. 3 tournament plays above 9K. I'm going to start right there at 11,000. I mentioned him, DJ. I'm going to play him. He definitely was a little squirrely on the weekend at Genesis. He was doing some things well and not doing other things well, but you cannot deny the fact that the guy's got 11 rounds in the 60s here out of 12. So I love DJ at 11,000. I think he's a guy I'm willing to play, and I'm willing to spend up. No cut event, so I'll take a little risk. I want some exposure to those guys up at the top. And then I'm probably going to go to Hideki at 10,000. Checking a lot of boxes and got some experience here as well. Hit the ball on the titties, as they say, last week at the Genesis.
After barely making the cut.
After barely making the cut, almost won the golf tournament. Just insane. So I'm going to go Hideki. And then I think I'm going to go Xander at 9,400. I'm going to get back on the Xander train. Kind of disappointed last week, but still checking a lot of boxes. Got the experience here at Club de Golf Chapultepec. Another POA surface for Xander, which I like. Distance, ball striking, he's still doing very well. We just need some putts to drop for Xander. We need the scrambling to improve for Xander. Other than that, I think he's primed. There are definitely a lot of good plays up here, but that's where I'm going to go in terms of tournament plays. If I'm talking cash, I actually like DJ in cash. This is one of those weeks where I don't like...
Wow, this is crazy. Usually you're not that high up on cash.
Well, I was going to say, this is one of those weeks where I don't like to play a lot of cash because of the no-cut format, and, you don't... The goal of just getting 6 of 6 through the cut is still the goal, but, obviously nobody's getting cut. So now the goal is to be a little more contrarian. There's ownership leverage in play now in a cash contest because everybody's getting 6 of 6, presumably. So I don't mind paying up now for DJ, so I'll roll with him in cash. I feel good about it. In terms of a fade, this is tough. There's 2 guys here I'm debating on. I think I'm going to lean. I think I'm going to go with Tommy Fleetwood at $9,200. Tommy Fleetwood's played well here. The last 2 years that he's played, he has played the week before. This event has been after the Genesis and the Honda. In the last 2 years, he has played the week before. He has not played very recently leading up to this event this week. Now, he also did that 3 years ago and finished runner-up. But so that you could just throw that whole theory out the window. But I like a little bit of form. I like a little bit of warm-up coming into this event for Fleetwood. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be excited to play him. It's his first event on the PGA Tour in 2020. They're ready to play Fleetwood. They're excited to play Fleetwood. I think he'll be somewhat chalky. I think ownership could be rather spread around. But, if I got to pick one, there's 2 guys I'm debating on. Fleetwood's the one I'll settle on. But I don't hate anybody in this range. There's nobody to hate. Like last week, we couldn't stand Brooks, who also, by the way, came out and said his knee injury is still very real. So there's nobody like that here that I really just can't stand or I think is an obvious fade. But if I got to make a call, I think Fleetwood's going to be chalky at 9,200. I don't like that we haven't seen him in a few weeks. There you go.
Okay.
DJ, Decky, Xander. DJ and cash.
Well, we're a little bit different here. Actually, we're a lot different. I like all of your picks. I will say that one of my picks, and I like him in cash or GPPs, is Tommy Fleetwood. I like him this week. I wonder if he'll actually have a little bit of an ownership. We'll get a little leverage there with him not coming off a tour event. I mean, he's been overseas. His last couple, his tournaments were a few weeks ago. He finished T11th at the Mega Dubai Desert Classic, but then he had a second place finish in Abu Dhabi. So obviously he's still playing well. So the form is there. We just haven't seen him on the PGA Tour. So I think you could definitely look at playing Fleetwood. And as you mentioned, he definitely has good history here with a second in 2017, a 14th and 18th, and a T19 last year, which isn't great. But I do like Fleetwood. I think Fleetwood is a good play this week, so he is one of my tournament plays. Also like Justin Thomas at 10-8 coming off that missed cut. He is another guy that's been fantastic on this course with a fifth place finish the first year they played here, second in 18, and then a ninth last year. We know he's checking all the boxes. I don't even need to say that. I mean, that's just a given right now.
He absolutely killed me last week.
And
absolutely,
I'm sure he burned a lot of people. So you know what? You got to have short memory. We talk about this all the time.
I don't hate the play.
You cannot have you've got to forget about the week before. I still think this is a great course fit for him. So I like some JT at 10-8. So he is another one of my tournament plays. And I'm going back up to the top again, like I did last week with Rory, and I'm going to take him at 11-5. Best player in the world right now, as far as I'm concerned. JT's close, by the way. He has shown, on this course that he can play well. Finished second last year, seventh back in 2017. If you take out the triple that he had yesterday, he's right there in the middle of this tournament. I mean, everybody says he backdoored it in with his top five or whatever.
Oh yeah, the triple.
But the triple total. I mean, you take that away, and he's right there, and probably could have won the damn tournament. So, yeah. I mean, I just don't see how you can avoid playing Rory. And I do think ownership's like when we typically see in an event like this where there's just only 70 players in the field, it's going to be spread out a little more in this top end. So I still think you could have he might be the highest owned guy. But I don't think it's going to be, over like 25% or something. So I like Rory at 11-5. As far as a cash play this week, I don't know. I think I'll go JT on a cash play for me. The fade, I'm going to fade Adam Scott. Coming off of the win.
I don't like that fade.
I don't know. I'm not really feeling Adam Scott.
Why?
He's only played here once. Finished T45.
They've only played it 3 times.
I know, but he finished T45 the year he did.
I don't like the Adam Scott fade.
Well, who did you fade?
Fleetwood.
Who I liked. I don't like your Fleetwood fade. So screw you.
We'll talk about that on the DK show.
Yeah, we'll put that one on the DK show.
All right, let's get to the 8K range. We're going to give you 2 tournament plays, a cash play, and a fade here. I mean, it's hard to argue with Paul Casey. Like, dude's playing well, striking his ball, great record here at Club de Golf Chapultepec. I think Casey's a lock. Can I get your let's see, he's at 8,700. I like that. And then I'm going to go back to the well with Patrick Reed. Reed came out pretty hot, started off first round pretty good at last week's Genesis. We were on him as a tournament play last week. It looked pretty good. Kind of fell off a little bit in later rounds, but I like Reed here again as another tournament play. Like we're seeing, click on Reed here. What was his ownership last week? And we're seeing Reed getting consistently, to me,
11%.
So 11%. The week before the Farmers was 9. Excuse me, sir. Still hitting his irons really, really well. Didn't putt as well last week as he normally does. I feel like that's going to come back a little bit and regress towards the mean, which is good for him because he's usually a really good putter on POA.
He's pretty terrible around the greens also.
It's his best surface. POA is his best surface. So, yeah, he didn't chip and putt very well last week, but typically that's not really how it goes. So,
yeah.
I like Reed in tournaments there. So I'm going to go Casey and Reed in tournaments. Casey is an easy play in cash to me. I'm going to load up on him in cash. And then you know who I want to fade, Pat? I want to fade Mark Leishman. You know why? Because I don't ever understand the love for Mark Leishman. Like, click on Mark Leishman. I don't. He's right there.
No, but you can't click on it there because it changed. Just let me do it the way I do things.
Okay. I just don't ever
Look. His ownership is look.
Okay.
Were you about to make a point that his ownership's too high? Because it's not. If you look at the last.
Yeah, that's a little better than I thought. Okay, so his worst putting surface is POA. He just never really does it for me. Like I know he just won the Farmers and nobody talked about him, but he came out and won because he gained 8 strokes on the putting surfaces
Yeah,
that
he played
week.
pretty.
He played terrible, and he gained 8 strokes putting. I just think he is one of the most hard to nail, inconsistent guys, which is fine if you're paying for Keegan Bradley in like the 7K. But when you're paying up for Leishman like you do every single tournament, I just don't ever get Mark Leishman. So if you guys hear me playing Mark Leishman, I have found something very special. As special as the casting couch that we're sitting on right now.
Yes.
All right, that's me.
Whew.
AK,
All right.
you're up.
Yeah.
How's the reposado going?
It's good. I need some ice.
No, you don't need any. That's watering it down. You don't need any more ice. Hotel ice. Why does hotel ice melt faster than
It
all
does.
the
It's ridiculous. I don't
By
know.
the way, the computer that we're sharing, we're only looking at fantasynational.com. That is our go-to source for statistics, lineup builders, optimizers, simulations, all that fun stuff. If you need golf, if you need help with golf betting or DFS, fantasynational.com. Cheers to you, sir. And actually go to fantasynational.com/TJ. That's really what we cheers to, because then that makes us look good. And you get 20% off of your subscription, whether weekly, monthly, or annual. I bet Pat has no idea what the subscriptions cost over on Fantasy National. Do you know?
I can pull it up right
No.
now.
What do they cost off the top of your head?
Like a monthly fee or
yeah,
what?
Yeah, what's a monthly?
I'd say probably, because I think the annual fee is somewhere around like $250 or so. So I'd say like $20 a month, something like that.
I think it's a little less.
Okay.
Better than I thought. Anyway, promo code or fantasynational.com/TJ gets you 20% off the weekly, monthly, or annual membership. And if you do the weekly and you say, hey, this is pretty cool, I want to do the monthly or I want to do the yearly, then you still get the 20% off. fantasynational.com/TJ. Pat, who's your 8K guys?
Huh. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Love checking out these comments.
Pat is so excited. He can
I wish
read
I
the
could
YouTube
see
comments.
these every week. It's great. All right, going into 8K. I'm with you on Patrick Reed. I actually had him marked down as a guy that I liked in tournaments.
He's also a 50-1.
So I like Patrick Reed.
50-1 on my book.
I'm going to go with you there. We'll make this quick. Also like Colin Morikawa. I think you just
I'm
dude
with you.
is insane.
That kid is good.
19
He's good at
straight
golf.
cuts on tour. He's not missed a cut since he's now. Obviously, we don't have a cut this week, but still, the guy's just incredible.
I bet he makes it 20.
He's going to make it 20
straight minutes. He's going to play
So
all
I
4
do
rounds.
like some Colin Morikawa. I'm with you there. I like Casey and Cash. I'm with you there. So
this
I
is
think
quick.
this is going to be pretty quick. I'll tell you, I think I'm going to fade right here, and I hate to do it.
You're very twitchy.
Yeah, I tell you,
You twitch a lot.
I don't like fading this guy,
Mhm.
but Louis Oosthuizen.
Oh, no.
Yep,
How do you fade Louis?
I just
I
don't.
like Louis.
I'm just not a big fan of Louis this week. He has played here all 3 years. He finished T25 was the best that he finished last year. But outside of that, I don't
Louis
know.
playing good this year.
I know he's been playing well, but I think that and ownership's probably going to be decent, but not too high. But I don't know.
It's not gonna be that high.
I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling Louis this week.
This might be a good time to tell the people that, we've had a busy day. We've been traveling. We've been on the road. We had to leave work early.
Yeah, this would be a good time to tell people that.
So maybe you can tell that we're not quite as sharp, and we're having to, especially Pat, go figure. But this is why it's a good reason to join the Nut Hut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good reason to join the Nut Hut. The Nut Hut is our chat room on tourjunkies.com that you can join. And right now, it's been amazing. We've got A bunch of folks that have signed up for monthly memberships at $10 a month. That's it, or annual memberships at $90 a month. And it's our chat room on our website, tourjunkies.com. It is open 24/7. I'll tell you what's been really nice, Pat. Really nice, Pat.
Yes.
Is that it's the Nut Hut is not just about us. Like I like going in there and seeing that the community is talking to each other. They're helping each other. They're bouncing ideas off each other. They're giving each other marital advice. They're inspiring one another.
It's a community.
It already has turned into a community, and it has very little to do with us. And it's a lot of fun. And then when we get in there, then we add what we can, and then we rock on. But
yeah,
you're in there every Wednesday night, at least at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, chatting it up before lineup lock, before you finalize your bets. I'm going to be hopping in there. I've had a couple crazy weeks, but I'm going to be hopping in there.
Yeah. Is this week? Are you going to be in there?
I should be. We should be normalized this week.
Okay.
Hopefully.
All right. Good.
But we're also in there.
You know how I like things to be on time.
You do. Yeah. You do. No. You don't like them to be on time. You like them to be the way that you want them. You're not very on time though.
Yes.
You're actually very late.
No, but I mean, when I say I'm getting in the Nut Hut at 8:30, I'm usually
you are. Yeah. But I also I've been in there at freaking 8:30 in the morning on a Tuesday.
Great stuff. Yeah.
You can pick our brains. You can pick the brains of those in the Nut Hut with you, and we're just a bunch of guys looking for that little nut to help us win some money on betting on golf is what we are. And in addition, you get 20% off in our pro shop in the TJ Golf Shop. You get a cameo video, which not enough of you are requesting from Pat. We're going to need some help on that.
I do one, Mr. Marcus.
But he gave you a video you refused to do.
Yeah, but I think
Marcus wanted you to do like a.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, that. By the way, do we need to discuss that?
No.
Okay.
We don't. I think Marcus is the one-off. He's a wacko.
Yeah, he is.
Anyway, go join the Nut Hut, tourjunkies.com. We'd love for you to check it out. Just try for 1 month. It's $10. If you don't like it, you don't have to renew. Pat, let's talk 7K range. 3 tournament plays, a cash play, and a couple fades. I'm going to let you start. I started the last 2.
All right, yeah, you did start the last 2. Well, I mean, how can we start the 7K range and not go with Mr. Abraham Answer?
I actually agree.
It's
I like
7,900.
I like him this week. I didn't like him last week.
And you were right last week. I don't think I talked about him on the show, but I ended up playing a decent amount of him, and he...
Hey, speaking of Nut Hut, you talked up betting Joel Damon at 250 to 1 in the Nut Hut on Wednesday night.
I did, yes. Yeah.
So
no, a lot, like we say, a lot changes between now and now. Not saying that we haven't put, well, today's a little different, but for the most part, a lot of research leading up to the podcast. But there's things you learn during the week. You hear from the players, interviews, all that kind of stuff. So it changes a lot. So another reason to get into that chat on Wednesday. We'll get some information from caddies and whatever else. But Abraham Answer, I do like this week at 7,900. Checking the box in strokes gained approach. Also in ball striking. He checks the box in proximity for me from 100 to 125 yards out. I think these guys are going to have a lot of wedges and things. And I know you hate the proximity, but I love it. So I will play a good amount of him. Now, next guy down that I like is going to be Rafa Cabrera Bello at 7,600. Another guy who's played here the last 3 years with a T3 back in 2018, top 20 finish last year. So I think that this is a good spot for Cabrera Bello. I faded him a few weeks ago. Didn't I fade him, Pebble Beach?
Yeah.
And he hasn't been, all that great recently. But I think he had a top 20 finish though last week at the Genesis. I think this is a good spot for him, so I like some Rafa Cabrera Bello, and I think you'll probably get him as low owned as he's ever been going into this tournament. So I like him as well. Also going to go with down below. I wanted to go Charles Howell, but I feel like he's just going to burn me. So I'm going to go with Mr. Scotty Scheffler at 7,100. I like Scotty. It's obviously going to be his first time playing here. Young dude on tour. Looking at the stats, so for him, across the board, opportunities gained, checks the box there. Strokes gained approach, checks the box there. Proximity checks a box. So I do like some Scotty Scheffler at 7,100. Certainly will be low owned. So he will be my third GPP play. As far as cash this week, I think I'm going to keep it pretty simple and just I don't know. I don't know who I like in cash. I don't really like anybody in cash down here.
Well, you have to. You're gonna have to play a couple people here in cash.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go. I'll go Rafa. I'll stick with him and go him.
So he's your favorite out of those three.
Yeah,
basically. I like the answer call. I like that. I'm gonna go right below him at Sung J M, who just missed his first cut all season. Holy crap, he missed a cut. But I still like Sung J here. Love the ball striking. Love the $7,900 price tag I get.
Does it not just crack you up how many tournaments he plays?
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
It's unbelievable. These next two I think are going to give you some ownership leverage. I'm going to go with Cam Smith, who has sucked his last three tournaments. Right after he won the Sony Open, Cam Smith played here for the first time last year, finished T6th, I believe. He's a tremendous scrambler, tremendous ball striker, and he's an Aussie, right? We talked about it last week. You got the Kikuya, fairways and rough. We know the Aussies, the South Africans, are used to that a little, maybe a little better than most, and I think that gives a slight edge to Cam. And I think he liked this golf course. I think that was evident by the T6 in his first time out last year. Pat, you realize only like everyone on YouTube can only see your arm right now. You got hairy white 42-year-old arm.
Sorry.
So I talked about some ownership leverage. I think I got another spot for you for tournaments and ownership leverage, and it's a European Tour guy, Victor Perez at $7,600. The Frenchman has been playing pretty well. I mean, he's 4 events into the Rolex Cup Series. Race to Dubai, excuse me. He finished 4th at the WGC HSBC back in the fall, so a strong field event, finished 4th, then played the Abu Dhabi, which is also a decent field event where you got some big names that show up, finished runner-up there. He's in good form, hits it a long way, good ball striking, young player out of France. So Victor Perez, I think, is going to be somebody who you're going to get some leverage with. Now, I also, at the same time, want to, and I think we talk about this almost every year, and that is the draw to the European Tour player at an event like this. This is a very strong field. Do not get completely suckered into getting on all these European Tour players because I do think that the cream still rises to the top here, and it's still tough. This field is stronger than obviously a lot of fields on the PGA Tour, and it's much stronger than a lot of fields on the European Tour. So just be selective with your European Tour player, full-time European Tour player exposure. I'm not saying don't play them. I'm not saying don't play a couple of them that play. I think Tyrrell Hatton's an exception, right? Like Hatton plays a lot on the PGA Tour, plays a lot on the European Tour. He plays in a lot of majors. He's experienced.
Been injured lately, though.
He has been hurt a little bit. I thought of his name just because I know he's got a guy that crosses over a lot and has a lot of experience. But don't get too caught up in the guys that are really doing well on the European Tour, but they don't play a lot on the PGA Tour and they don't have a lot of experience on the PGA Tour. This is still a really big boy event, right? So you got to put your big boy pants on. But I do think Victor Perez is one of those that may be able to put his big boy pants on. In terms of cash, I actually like Charles Howell in cash at 7,100. I mean, and he's 71? What is he?
7,100.
7,100. I like Howell here. Played well here his first time out. I think he finished 15th or 16th last year.
14th.
His first time out. 14th last year. Loved the 5-under round, or was it 6-under? Whatever he shot round 2 last week at the Genesis to get in and make the cut. Had a pretty poor round on Saturday, but another decent round on Sunday, I believe. He just didn't put 4 together. But I like that he's coming in, having played the week before, he's comfortable on the POA. We know that. That's his best putting surface by far. This is a moneymaker event for him on a great surface, no cut. I love Charles Howell here, actually, at 7,100. I think I've already talked about playing DJ and Paul Casey in cash. You're going to pay up for both of those guys. Howell gives you a little bit of salary relief, and a good POA player and ball striker, and a guy who played the week before, which we've seen people who play Riviera the week before tend to have some success here. So I'll go Howell in cash. A couple fades here for me. I think an easy one is Francesco Molinari at 7,100. Poor Francesco. I don't know. Maybe one of these days he'll figure it out, but it's not. I don't know that's happening right now. And then I'm going to go with Byung-Hun An, which this was a tough one. I think this is a tough call to fade. Byung-Hun An is definitely checking a lot of boxes in terms of ball striking. Congratulations to Byung-Hun, by the way. Just had a baby. Just had his first baby.
Congrats, Ben-Han.
If you're watching, just had his first baby, a baby boy. Great for him. And now that may mean that you think the nappy factor is now in play, that he's going to go out and play. But I don't know. I kind of feel like it's like, what if it's one of these things where like he really didn't want to play, and if this were the Valspar, he's not showing up.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know what, babe? It's the WGC. It's a big event. I get a lot of world ranking points. It's a guaranteed check.
We haven't talked about the nappy factor in a while.
We haven't talked about the nappy factor.
There might be folks that don't know what it is.
Go ahead and tell them.
The nappy factor is playing well in the event immediately after you have had a baby, and so we have seen it. We have seen it work. The science of the nappy factor works on several occasions. So who knows? It could be with Ben-Han, but obviously you're fading him. I did not mention my fades, but for me, I'm going to fade.
You said you didn't know who to fade.
Yeah, but I've kind of looked more at it. I don't really like some Sneds this week at 7,700. I just don't. I think, like you mentioned earlier, when you're looking at playing a lot of these top end guys, I'm gonna be down here in the lower 7K range, and so I don't like some Brant Sneds up there at 7,700. Also, Billy Horschel, even though he's a little bit cheaper at 7,300, not a huge fan of his. He's not really checking any boxes for me. Hasn't done that well in this event. Well, he's only played at this course once, finished 45th, so near the bottom of the field. So I'm not a fan of Horschel this week at 7,300. He's obviously a bigger name that you'll see, in this lower 7K range. So, and I'm with you on Molinari too.
Of course.
That's just an easy one.
I will say this: like, if
do you go through 2 of these a night when we normally?
Yeah. I mean, you're drinking that sissy rosé shit.
Okay, it's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
I will say, if On turns out to be like less than 10% or like less than 8% in tournaments, I would be pretty interested. I do think his upside is good. I just think people are going to be a little more on him at $7,400.
On?
Yeah, I think they're going to be on a little bit more. So I'm gonna say I'm fading On. A couple of guys on the MyBookie front that I like in that range. You got Answer. You mentioned Answer. He's at 55-1. I like that. Here being in Mexico, hometown event for him. I like that. Not hometown, home country event. You know what I mean. RCB. You mentioned at 70. He's at 75-1 on MyBookie. Cam Smith's at 90-1, and Charles Howell is at 100-1 on MyBookie. So I kind of like that.
Keep in mind what I said earlier, though, that 13 of the last 16 winners of WGC events, not this one, have all been 25-1 or shorter.
That's not a fun event for DB to bet.
You hate this event to bet.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like this event.
You're probably not going to have a sweat.
We'll talk about the Puerto Rico in just a second.
Yeah.
That's an event I love to go.
Oh, we were supposed to talk about the Puerto Rico?
No, we'll wing it. No, actually, I have some guys.
Okay.
All right, 6K range. Any plays in the 6K range? I tell you, the one that I'm most salivating over would be, let me pull up his price real quick. 6K range. In terms of pure value, at 6,600, Carlos Ortiz is definitely a value.
Yes.
Having played well the last couple weeks, the Genesis and the Waste Management really like Ortiz here. Another countryman of Mexico. I think he's familiar here, so I think pure value is him. And then I also like Sebastian Munoz, who's from Colombia, but also played well at the Genesis. I bet him last week at the Genesis outright. He's like 250 to 1. Opened up with 2 rounds of 69 in the first 2 rounds last week. He's a bomber. He hits the ball a long way. Good ball striker. Putts well on POA. I think he's interesting. I like.
Do you like Jazz Janawantananan?
No, wait a minute. Janawantananan? Janawantananan?
I'm just wondering.
Janawantananan?
I figured I'd say that, or you could go with Christian Gazunheit.
Okay.
Sorry, no, but
now Seabez.
Bazoonhouse.
I call him Seabez. Okay,
Seabez.
now Seabez.
Tell me about some Seabez.
Look, actually,
you got Seabez written down.
I have Seabez written down. Now I like Seabez. Seabez is kind of a bomber. Okay, hits the ball a little bit. He's also South African. So I mentioned the South Africans, the Aussies. They're familiar with that Kikuya. We just saw him finish 21st at the Saudi International, runner-up at the Omega Dubai, 17th at the HSBC WGC event back in the fall. So Seabez I'm kind of down for. And then one more in the 6Ks that I like. That's another, actually he's Australian, but he checks that Australian South African box. And one ear sticks out way further than the other one, and that is Lucas Herbert. So if you pull up Lucas's DraftKings picture, he has an ear that is extremely lopsided. Very different.
He's got a lopsided ear?
Yeah, look. But
whoa, what's wrong with him?
Along with his lopsided ear comes great.
That can't be right.
Comes great form.
They messed something up. That's got to be on next.
It comes great form, including a win at the Omega Dubai. Another young player, bomber. I like the Australian angle here. I like the South African angle here. I like the Australian angle, unless your name is Mark Leishman, I guess. I should clarify. But I do like some guys down here. I think you got to go down here and get some of those studs up top in your lineup. I like it.
These type of events are one of my favorite to go get the 6K guys.
Well, of course, because you don't have the risk.
Yeah, you don't have the risk.
Yeah, you and every other noob out there, buddy.
No, I'm just saying it's a fun week to talk about the 6K guys. I mean, another guy I like, you mentioned a couple of them, but Eric Van Rooyen at 6,600, he's checking boxes long off the tee, checks a box in strokes gained approach, also in opportunities gained and proximity. Everybody loves some EVR, as I like to call him last week. He was a hot topic. He was sort of everyone's sneaky low-end play, and he missed the cut. So maybe people are going to have a little recency bias with him and drop him from their and not play him just based off of being burned a little bit, because he was kind of one of those just talked-up guys. But I like some EVR this week. I think he will bounce back off the missed cut and play well this week. I also like Lee Westwood up at 6,900. The guy's been playing well. We saw him win just a few weeks ago over in overseas. He's a guy that we've talked up on Twitter and some other places as far as a long shot Masters bet to take.
Who's that?
Lee Westwood.
Oh yeah,
it's 6,900. So I do like him on this course. I think it's a good fit for him. So he is another one that I like in that 6K range. And I'm with you on Munoz. I like him. God, why is it so hard to say? It's not even that difficult.
It's called Reposado, is what it is.
And yeah, Reposado. This stuff is
potent.
Woo! Carlos Ortiz, I'm with you there too. All right.
All right. Let's look at. I want to look at Puerto Rico real quick, because I do think. Well, first
I know one thing. I'm not playing Victor Hovland at whatever price he's at.
I mean, people. Let's just talk about Puerto Rico real quick. Don't play Victor Hovland at 11-4.
Okay, 11-4, yeah. No.
11-4 is insane. Like, this event is won by a lot of different types of people. Do not pay up. In fact, I'm not even just going to pick on Hovland, because we've been fading Hovland a lot all year, and it's paid
I'm not
off.
playing
Brillo. Anybody above. Honestly, the first one that I'm going to look at is Matt Naismith at 9,100.
Yeah.
Matt Naismith, I like at 9,100. Zach Blair in the Buck Club at 8,700.
No way.
I like Norlander at 8,500. I love Chase Seifert at 77. He's playing amazing.
I think you can go up to Chesson Hadley at 9,500. I actually do think that's about the highest price guy I would go with.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start 91. I like DJ Trahan at 7,600. You're gonna love this. I love Tyler McCumber.
Tyler McCumber.
At 7, I knew you would love it.
Woo!
At 7,400. You love the McCumber family.
I feel like we're kindred spirits. We interviewed Tyler, remember at the
Yeah,
web.com events?
I love our boy Hank Lebioda,
Yep.
your doppelganger. Taught you all that you know about your hair care at 7,300.
I know you're going to go Sebastian.
You know I love Sebastian. It's a
Yeah.
birdie fest. He loves to be aggressive. It's a resort course birdie fest. Love that. Then it kind of drops off. So I don't want to have to go down to the 6K range in a shit field. I just don't. So I think Seabass is as low as I'm going. But I love fading everyone above Matt Naismith.
I tell you one guy in this the 6K, and I don't know why I picked the guys that have the strangest last names or the names that I can't pronounce, but Michael Gligic at 6,600, he's pops he's played,
Michael Gligic.
Michael Gligic. He was 55th at the AT&T a couple weeks ago. He was 21st at the American Express.
Yeah.
Back in the fall, he had a top 30 at the Houston Open. So he's he's a risk reward kind of GPP play if you want to look at him. I mean, I'm just saying.
I just don't think I think So there's a big $8. I think on DraftKings there's a big $8 tournament, right, for the Puerto Rico. I just don't even think even in that event you have to get that cute because there's nobody in here that's going to be that chalk. Nobody in here is going to be super chalk. Everybody I just named, none of them are going to be over 15%.
Probably so, yeah.
Right? None of them.
No.
So anyway, yeah. That's the Puerto Rico. So your perfect lineup last week for the Genesis Open, Pat. We've been talking about that every week. Your perfect lineup in DraftKings, you would have spent only $46,700. Your team would have scored 586.5 points, and it would have consisted of obviously the winner Adam Scott, Sung Kang, Matt Kuchar, Hideki, Scott Brown, and my guy Bryson DeChambeau.
Your guy, Bryson DeChambeau. Now he's all of a sudden become your guy.
Yeah, would have been Bryson DeChambeau. By the way, Pat. Oh, did you bring the White Claws?
I did.
You should go get one.
No, I don't.
Yeah, go get one.
I don't want one.
Yeah, go get one.
No, I want this stuff that I got right now.
So if you're not reading Pat's Fantasy Golf Sommelier article every week, you should. It's very funny. It's very good. It's informative. And actually, believe it or not, his picks have been good. It's free on the tourjunkies.com website. The Fantasy Golf Sommelier article that Pat promised me would be out by Tuesday afternoons has been out no earlier than Wednesday by 2 p.m. But if you can check it out between Wednesday at 2 p.m. and Lineup Lock, it's a great read. And Pat really went off on the White Claw truly kind of generation. It was very funny. Go back and read it. But I want to make him try a White Claw. Maybe for the Tour Junkies After Dark YouTube show presented by DraftKings. After this, I'll make him drink a White Claw. But I bought some just for him, and I think he needs to try one. So check that out. The Fantasy Golf Sommelier article has been killer. The Chalk Bomb. Listen, the freaking Chalk Bomb has been nails. If you are not subscribing to the Chalk Bomb, this is what you're missing out on. Are you ready for this? You're missing out on a free piece of content, all the way free, very free, right? Pretty free.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, all the way free, 100% free.
I believe unless you have to start paying for your emails.
Which would be bad. That would be really bad.
Yeah, that is going to be free.
This is what you get with the Chalk Bomb email. You get Ben Little, who is way smarter than us, writing up head-to-head matchups, usually about 3 to 4, that are very interesting. Not just saying, hey, take this side of the line, but saying, here's what the line tells you about the matchup and how it pertains to DFS value on DraftKings. It's a very sharp piece of content.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then, like last week, he threw in some data golf stuff about how distance really correlates to Riviera. That was sharp. Then you get into DB's Big Balls betting card, which is now up 50 units on the 2019-2020 season of the PGA Tour. 50 units, I am up. I basically say, here's $50 and how I would spend it if I only spent $50 betting on mybookie.ag. And I write up my players. I give you first-round leader bets, outright bets, kind of a combination of those from time to time. And then you get Pontificate with Pat, which is your break in the article where you just laugh your ass off at just the weird shit that comes out of Pat's brain.
Yeah.
And then you get the 10 facts, which Adam Scott was in like 6 of those last week.
I thought it was more than 6.
No, it was like 6. I counted it. Okay. But the 10 facts is when Ben goes back and like back tests and run some key data and some statistics on this week's golf course and what's going to happen. And you get the chalk bomb, which is here's the guy around 15 to 20% owned, projected, not always accurate.
Not going to always be accurate.
That we think you should fade, and at least like 10 reasons why you should fade him to gain an edge in DFS. And yeah, we're on a heater.
It would have
last week. It was Bubba Watson, who missed the cut at 19%. The week before that, it was Snedeker at Pebble Beach, who missed the cut. The week before that, it was Victor Hovland at the Waste Management, who missed the cut at 15%. It's been pretty freaking nails, and it is free to subscribe to. All you have to do is go to tourjunkies.com and scroll to the bottom of the homepage. On the bottom right-hand corner of the homepage, you see the chalk bomb. You just type in your email, and boom, you are in. It's a great piece of content. We enjoy putting it together, and it should help you. You have not lost out on winning any money by fading our chalk bomb every week of the year since the Tournament of Champions. Am I right? Okay. Yeah. All right, Pat, you ready to get to just the freewheeling part of the podcast?
Yeah. Haven't we pretty much been freewheeling the whole damn time?
But now it's, listen, if the people don't want what's about to come at them, they can just turn it off right now. We appreciate you listening. But now we got tequila. We're relaxed. We don't have to do an ad read. We don't have to make any more picks. We can just talk about stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got one question. Marcus Griffin, your boy Marcus. You played golf with Marcus in Savannah. Talking about everybody hating on the coverage, he thinks everyone should band together and solicit ESPN to be a new player in town with the PGA Tour Live next year. They have embraced DraftKings for the NFL and could be the change that we all want to see for live golf coverage. I guess we can open this up now and talk coverage because, yes, you could definitely go a lot of places and get some coverage takes right now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to beat the dead horse, but any thoughts on coverage in general and the ESPN take that Marcus just had?
All right. So for the ESPN take, I'll start with that first. I think it's a great idea. I don't know how quickly it would happen. And here's the thing: we obviously have CBS as the main player in golf right now, and that's where we can get into the golf coverage talk and all that kind of stuff, and the Golf Channel. Those are the folks that have the infrastructure. They have the talent, you may say. I'm putting air quotes around that because I don't know if you could say it's talent. To broadcast these events, to cover these events, and things like that. I don't know what ESPN has right now. I don't know if they have, could just get. I mean, it would take a little bit of time for them to get a crew together, to get guys that know, that could produce all this kind of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of things that go in to covering golf because it's not like a football event or baseball or whatever where everything is right there on the field, right in front of you. I mean, things are happening all over the course. There are so many different things that are going on. So I think it is hard. I think to defend CBS and maybe Golf Channel and things like that, I don't think that people understand how difficult it is getting coverage all around the course. Now, I'm sure they have cameras everywhere and blah 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 and whatever you could say, but I think it's a little harder than you think. And I think there's a little bit of ignorance when it comes to the viewer as far as how that.
Are you being an apologist for coverage?
I'm
right
just
now?
I can lay into it
Jeez.
if I want to, but what I'm just saying is there's a lot that goes into golf coverage. I think you see it at the Masters, who has the best golf coverage out there, which, by the way, CBS is part of. But they have way more resources than they have on almost any other, tournament all year long. That's why the best tournaments all year. Now, here's why Riviera, I do think, was so compelling and so I don't know the word I'm looking for, but why there was so much uproar with Riviera is because the field was so great that it was, and at the end of the day, they were missing out on guys and not, hitting, covering guys like Harold Varner, being there, Joel Damon at the end, Max Homa, all that kind of stuff. But at these bigger events, the majors and things like that, they have a better capacity to be able to cover some of that stuff. I don't know if they underestimated that, but. Anyway,
you can't underestimate the field, right? They knew the field the Friday before.
I'm just saying. I think that they treated it like they made the mistake of treating it like a normal tour event that they might cover normally when they should have treated it like a major or like a tournament, a TPC or whatever.
To me, that's ridiculous because it's been Tiger's event since last year. They announced that it would be Tiger's event. It'd be an invitational thing. Like, people don't turn down an invite from Tiger. So you knew the field was going to be strong. Starting last year, you knew the field was going to be strong. You knew it was going to be a strong field event. You knew that Riviera was a course that had proven how awesome it was for decades, right? Like, I don't understand. Like, that's not an excuse to me.
I'm not. So here's what I'm saying. Though you're not even letting me. I'm not finishing. Here's the thing.
That's an interjection, Pat. You've talked a lot. I'm just interjecting.
I'm not saying the coverage is great because the coverage sucked. But I do think there's a lot that goes into covering an event that we don't know about.
I'm sure there is.
Normal people. So, I don't know, but they've got to figure it out to make it better because it sucks that we can't see, Joel Damon after he got hit into on a hole by Adam Scott, which is pretty funny, sinking a birdie putt to get himself back into the tournament. Max Homa gradually going up the leaderboard. Harold Varner topping the ball off the 10th tee. When nobody saw it, when he's in the lead in the freaking tournament. Now, if that had been Adam Scott or Rory McIlroy or Tiger Woods, they would have certainly.
How about the FedEx? How about the FedEx graphic from CBS yesterday about Adam Scott? They threw up the FedEx graphic. If you're on YouTube, here I'll throw it up for you real quick. So they threw up the FedEx graphic and they wanted to give you a little bit of information on Adam Scott, including where he stands in the FedEx Cup right now, which is really important.
Gotta know that.
He's 108th. CBS wants you to know that he's an avid surfer. He founded the Adam Scott Foundation in 2005, and he's a 9-time President's Cup International team member. Oh, and the most important thing, he was college teammates with Charlie Hoffman. Forget the fact that he's a Masters champion and a Players champion. Like, it's just dumb stuff. They put the wrong scores up on the screen for the LPGA results. It's not good. It's not good at all. And I'm really, what I think happened yesterday is the coverage was no different. I don't think the coverage was any different. I think you had a extremely strong event. You had a strong field, so you had more eyes on it, and you had people who expected a higher level of production and professionalism. And so, if the right players, no laying up, all those guys start tweeting, then it's going to light the fire and everybody's going in. So it is what it is. I don't know. ESPN is interesting. Marcus Griffin brings up ESPN. ESPN is interesting because they have a better, I don't know, I guess they cover sports better, I guess. I'm trying to think I don't know how you make it. I just don't think it's that complicated. I do think
I think it's more complicated than you think to cover a golf tournament.
Here's an idea. So last week I think it was just announced that William Hill, the major betting platform out of Europe, that William Hill is now partnered with CBS. What if William Hill somehow said, "All right, we're partnered, but we want to use your cameras that you have on every hole, and we want to show every shot on our feed for the gamblers, right? without all the fluff, without the Konica Minolta swing vision, without the CEO interviews, without the bullshit. All right, like we on our feed, we want to show this from your cameras, and we'll do some sort of like rev split, but because we're partnered together now, right? Like, so William Hill says we want to do this. You guys keep doing your thing. We'll do our thing. Like that's what I keep thinking is about to happen. Is that somewhere somebody is going to go, all right, well, we'll make it a streaming thing, or we'll make it an online thing where you pay this fee and you can just see golf shots. It doesn't matter. You don't have to get all the extra stuff. I don't have to hear Dottie Pepper say a damn word. I'm tired of Dottie Pepper. I don't want to hear her mouth again. Like, and I just want the golf shots. And I think the William Hill CBS marriage, if it's not something like that, it's somebody else. But
but you have to have that like be an offshoot, like where you provide that to some folks as maybe some sort of premium type coverage or whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
And then you have normal coverage for.
That's what I'm saying. CBS
like,
keeps doing their same thing.
My dad, who's a big golf sits down every Sunday, watches
he can watch
all
that
4
shit.
hours. Like he doesn't care about that. Like
that's what I'm saying. So CBS can keep doing that shit for your dad. But what I'm saying is William Hill, because now they're partnered with CBS and there's mutual benefit for both, can still use CBS cameras that are still capturing. I mean, you can't tell me that nobody saw that nobody's camera saw Joel Damon's approach shot into 17. Because they got it.
They had to have
it. They freaking got it. They just didn't put it on the thing. So now William Hill says, okay, we're together. We're in relationship. So we're going to take that shot and we're going to put it on our platform and distribute it through an online channel or through an app or through some sort of streaming service. But you keep doing your network TV bullshit the same way you always do it for Pat Perry's dad. You know what I mean? Like, you do both and just see what happens is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, look, there's no question that there's a problem with the coverage, and I'm sure that I don't think the solution is as easy as people may think it is, but at least it's being talked about, and it may make it better for us. I think that the other part of this is how much, what we talk about, DFS, gambling, all that kind of stuff is now being more acceptable. We know that. And so it's bringing on a broader audience, which is good, great for the game.
Yeah.
An audience that clamors to view things in a different way than my dad views things. And so that's where the tour and CBS and everybody else, they're going to have to get their minds together and figure out, okay, what is this new listenership, viewership want to see, and how do they want to see it versus our old classical ways that we like, and how do we marriage that together and make it a good product that it's not going to make everybody happy, because it's never going to do that. But I think right now there's a blind eye towards the rapidly growing viewership for golf that is more gambling related, that is more DFS related, that wants to see more shots of other folks besides those top 10 guys in the
100%.
world. And so I think that's where the biggest problem is they've got to fix. And I think it'll happen.
So slow.
But it's slow.
The gambling thing is definitely going to change it, for sure. I just think it's going to take a partner like a William Hill with CBS to say, like, all right, you guys clearly aren't smart enough to figure this out. So we'll do it. I literally would. I'm trying to think of what it would take for them to charge me that I wouldn't pay for it. Like, I would pay for it with no audio. You don't even have to have anyone talking.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I would just pay for every golf shot of anybody I want to see, and I don't have to have any commentary.
Yeah.
Just give me the camera shot, and I probably would pay a couple $100 a month.
You wouldn't pay that.
Yeah, I would. I think I would.
Oh gosh.
Any other coverage takes? Or are we good on that?
I mean,
I want to talk about. We haven't talked about the ball and the distance debate. I don't want to get into the distance report.
I don't want to get into that either. It's too technical. But I've had almost two of these Casamigos.
But you as a short knocker, me as a bomber. You know what I mean? Like, I want us to come together. I want to reach across the aisle to you as a very short knocking son of a gun, and I'm a bomber. You know what I mean? And I just want to say, like, hey, it's okay. Like, don't feel bad about it. but do you want the ball rolled back so that I can basically still outdrive you by just about the same yardage?
I think it's all a bunch of crap as far as I'm concerned. I mean, technology is technology. I think it's great that we have all these drivers that you and I can hit that can help us try and hit the ball further. But, a golf course in itself is not a great golf course just because it's long and because it's whatever. I mean, there's so many different things that go into great golf courses. Some of the greatest golf courses in the world are short. Some of the greatest golf courses in the world are longer, like a Torrey Pines at 7,700 yards. So I don't necessarily think that any of this, if they do anything, don't let it apply to us as regular players. Okay? It's like, why if something happened that they do something with the pros who are totally, that's 1% of golfers out there, why should it affect the regular player? That doesn't make the game any more fun for us. I mean, who doesn't want to hit the ball further? Who doesn't want to, try and, I don't know, say they hit a 300-yard drive. I mean, I'd love to be able to say that. It's not going to happen, but, I'd love to say that. But
that's sweet, man.
Here's the thing. I mean, golf is just supposed to be fun. It's for everyone. You can't mold everything off of what the pros do. And so I just don't think you build 8,000-yard courses and take all this property up and do whatever. I'm not a big fan of that. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't really think there's a huge issue. Now, if you feel like there's an issue with tour players, address that. But then don't shame a regular player for not doing it like the tour players do.
Oh, distance shaming?
Distance shaming.
Yeah,
I hate that. I hate that.
Do I distance shame you?
Yeah, you distance shame me.
Here's the thing.
People distance shame all the time, and it's a problem in this world.
Here's the thing, though. I will say this: like we've heard some of the guys comment on this that people are built different now, athletes are different now, and I have to say this: like, here's how I think about it. Have you spent any time on TikTok?
I did the other day after I messaged you about do we have a TikTok account, and you said I think you.
What?
Anyway, I did for a second. Oh, because I found out my son had a TikTok account.
What?
Yeah, he's 11 years old.
Shit. You need to get that under control. Anyway, here's what I know: that hormones in the chicken are doing a lot of stuff. And if you spend 4.5 minutes on TikTok, you'll find yourself seeing you'll all of a sudden get to like this. You'll see a girl and she'll be like dancing to some song, and you're like, oh,
like twerking.
She's cute. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, she's 15 years old. Like hormones in the chicken just do stuff. Like they don't make people. Human beings are not produced the way that they used to be produced. Like, I have a 15-year-old son. 15 years old. He's as big as me. He's ripped. Like, nobody in my high school, and he's not even like a big kid in high school. Like, nobody in my high school was built like him. So, yeah, now, like, you have athletes. You have people that are just coming out of the womb with freaking amino acids exploding in their veins, and they're just big and bulky and strong and fast and all of the above. Like, I do think that is part of it. Pat, I mean, honestly, you're about to turn 43. I'm 36. I just genetically am bigger, faster, stronger than you. That's just why I hit the ball further than you. You know what I mean? But they just don't. They're not making them the same anymore. They just aren't. Go to TikTok. Literally 4.5 minutes on TikTok will teach you that. So I think part of it is just genetically it is what it is. I, for one, do think though that you could go ahead and stop technology. Like stop. I think the biggest thing is the ball. I don't think it's the clubs. I think it's a ball. I think you could stop the ball right now. Like where it is right now, go ahead and stop it. On the pro level, on the amateur level, whatever the tech is in the ball right now, if it's kryptonite or whatever hormone is in the golf ball, like just stop. I think you can stop the golf ball.
You can stop the ball and keep the clubs going.
Keep everything else the same, just stop it. Now, if people get longer, it's because they get bigger, faster, stronger. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't let any further advancement happen with the ball, but don't roll it back either. Just stop it right here and let's go. Let's keep it moving.
I don't need any balls rolled back.
All right, well, we probably worn out our welcome.
This has been an interesting.
We still have to do the DraftKings show.
Yeah, this has been very interesting. My first experience with Casamigos. Casamigos.
Not Casamigos.
Okay.
It's actually one word. Casamigos.
Reposado.
There you go.
Is the flavor.
Yeah.
The flavor of choice. It's pretty good. So this has been interesting. It's weird being together. We talk all the time about wanting to be together more when we do a show, and I don't know.
I think it would be better if we had more practice.
Yeah.
And we weren't sitting on a couch.
Yeah.
This is the best we could do in a hotel room.
Yeah.
I think we were sitting across a table from each other or something. It would be much better. This is weird.
And the mic
is just
looks funny.
Weird.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah. Very phallic show tonight.
Yes.
All right, well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we appreciate it, you guys. Except for a couple of you guys who are total dickholes. We hope you guys have a shitty night. And but may your screens be green unless you're said dickhole. See ya! Out!
Tour Junkies.